Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Shifali Chopra, your storyteller. आज की conversation कुछ ज़्यादा ही खास है. Just some time back, I was thinking about all the things that I think are my favorite. Um, Ice cream, chips,
Mm.
samosas, cheese, wine, flowers, candles, Anahita. I really have no words to express what Anahita Kalsi means to me. You know, I see determination, strength, grit, and unconditional love right here in this little girl. Yes, acceptance is the word that comes to my mind. And the minute she accepted the word acceptance, there arose a new word called strength. That's why I call her my warrior princess. She's my favorite RJ, a blogger, a fighter, fighting her congenial fibrotic syndrome. Welcome to this conversation, Anahita.
Thank you so much. That was such a nice description. It was just too
But
nice.
that's
You're so
you. That's
sweet.
just you. You're looking so pretty, and I love your long
Thank
hair.
you.
इसका राज
Oh,
क्या है?
thank you. इसका कोई राज नहीं है. I think it's just Indian genetics of having thick brown hair.
You got beautiful hair. I must ask your
Yeah,
mom, what did she
you
give to you that you have such nice, lovely hair? Has to be something.
it, no, I don't know. I think it's just too much hair at this point. I just want to cut it all.
Oi,
So
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, I must tell everybody here that छोटी है but सोच बहुत बड़ी है. सोच बहुत बड़ी है. A lot of people talk about age and growing wise with age, but I must tell you, age has got nothing to do with it. खास अनाहिता, अनाहिता मैंने तुम्हारा नया नाम रखा है. यू कॉल द छोटा पटाखा, बट बड़ा धमाका. So she
that's
is my
nice.
chota pataka, bada dhamaka. Right now, she is doing her fourth year, studying psychology at St. Andrews in UK. How is it going, my girl?
It's going so well. It's actually sad because during COVID, I didn't get to come here back. So almost my entire second year and first year got missed. But I'm just making the most of the time I have here. And it's amazing, living independently, having to cook on your own and, do things by yourself. It's challenging, but I think that's what makes you more and more independent and strong. So I'm really liking it.
Yeah, when we are loving it. Your mom is already sending loads of hearts and mwah, mwah for you. You know, the best is when I got to know that you're a blogger and
Mhm.
you are a RJ running your show called Unfiltered with Anahita, where
Yeah.
you're doing such phenomenal kind of work. You're speaking to these kids from university and who may be dealing with some kind of mental issues or some kind of depression, and you're trying to empower so many people out there.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And what is interesting is that when you were little, you went through so much in your life, you know, and today you are empowering so many people out there. How does it feel, Anahita?
No, it feels amazing, and I'm not gonna say that I don't have days where I don't feel good about myself because I think those days are there for everybody. But it's just the fact that I got myself to this journey. Like I think that 10-year-old little girl, Anayata, wouldn't believe that, I'm here and I'm doing so much because that 10-year-old girl was so scared, scared of life, scared of, you know, talking and just being herself and finding who she really is, that I just couldn't have imagined that I've reached her, and I just only hope to continue to, like, bring positivity and good energies to everyone's lives.
Anahita, when you were little, I mean, I know many people have covered your story, okay?
Yeah,
And you went through a very tough phase in your life. A very tough. It's not easy.
yeah.
And but for me, the real story begins when you accepted the word acceptance.
Hmm.
When you knew that this is what it is. But now, next what? Are you going to cry and feel all the more worst? Or are you going to change your narrative? And what
Hmm.
I love about your story is you decided to change your narrative. I really want you to talk to us about that time period.
Yeah. So, when I was born, obviously, I was born in a small town in Ajmer, and it was a normal delivery. And this instance, my parents actually just told me recently, so it's really surprising. I had no idea about this, but basically, when I was born, one of my so my left eye was open, and my mom didn't know that something was wrong because the nurse quickly took me away, and my dad was looking at me, and he also didn't think that anything is wrong. He was just so happy, like both of them were just so happy that, oh my god, like a baby girl is finally here. So they didn't really notice anything, but it's when the doctor told my dad that, okay, there's something wrong with her left eye, like we need to get it checked, and they were putting these huge like light torches in my eye, and trying to check and see what's going on. And that's when my dad realized that, okay, there is something wrong, and my mom had no idea. And my dad basically went outside, and both my dadu and nanu were there, and he told both of them that I will get this fixed, like I don't care what I need to do, she is going to be a normal kid, and I will make sure to get this fixed. Like, and obviously, then once mom found out and everything, it was a very emotional, very distressing moment, just because, a birth of a baby is supposed to be of celebration, but it kind of felt like it took that away from them with the condition that was there. And obviously the doctors told us that this looks like a congenital fibrotic syndrome, and they didn't know exactly what the implications or the negative effects could be. And because it was a small clinic, it's not like they would know what is going on. So obviously, Papa was in the army and my mom was a fashion designer. They both kind of compromised in their own ways, gave up their own jobs just to really focus on me and me finding some kind of cure. And we traveled the world. We traveled Canada, we went to US, we went to Singapore. Like, the positive thing was that, and I still say to them, is that, look, I made you go to so many places. Like one day we used to have like a doctor's appointment, the other 4 5 days would just be us touring the whole place. So in a way, I so loved it. Like, yeah, one day I had a doctor appointment, with the rest few days I was just enjoying the cities and the new countries. um so I always tell them that, look at the bright side, we're literally in such a beautiful country. But the sad part was that the doctors at that moment, again, they didn't know what is going on with me. They said this is a very rare condition, we don't think there is going to be a cure anytime soon, and there are risks involved, we don't think you should go through with it. And also the money was a big part. Like, we were a middle class family, we couldn't be dreaming about things like, oh yeah, we'll pay for the surgery, everything will be fine and everything will be sorted. Mentally, I was this 10-year-old kid, like I said, struggling with my self esteem, struggling with understanding who I was and what I wanted out of life, because I was so consumed with my external appearance that I never gave a thought about who I am, or like what do I want to pursue or what do I want in life. So academically, I struggled. Socially, I struggled. I didn't have friends. It's like in school, it's that phase of, oh, who's the popular kid? Who's the cool kid? You want to be like everyone else. You want to be surrounded in like a big social group. And the more friends you have, the more cool you are. And, you know, at one point I really started to feel like, oh, she's got straight hair, she's a popular kid, let me start blow drying my hair. And I remember this period in my life where I would blow dry my hair every single day. I would tell my mom, Mama, let's go to the parlor. I want to get straight hair. I hated my hair. I hated my curly hair. I was like, okay, anything that's different, I'm going to change it because I want to look just like them so that I fit in, so that I feel like a part of something. And to this point, I never feel like I belong. And in a way, I understand it now that it is a very good thing. Being different is not bad. It's actually a very, very good thing. Because why do you want to be like others? You want to be your own unique self and really focus on your strengths than looking and being like everyone else. But obviously, in that moment, I was so insecure and so just full of how I would look externally that I would try to put makeup, I would try to do things to cover it up almost. I would wear my specs and I would get like big specs so that it covers it up. And it was tough for my parents too, because obviously they saw me struggling, and because I wasn't able to accept it, they couldn't accept this either. And mom would get told that it's because of you. Maybe during pregnancy something happened. Dad would get told that, who's gonna marry her, as if the only life purpose of a woman is to get married. Nobody would ask me like, oh, what are your goals, or like, what are your plans? um and I think the acceptance really came in when I realized that, people will always have something to say to you. Judgments are always going to be there, and sometimes people's behaviors and actions has more to do with themselves than you. It's to do with their own insecurities, their own um, issues that they project onto you. And it took me such a long time to realize this simple thing, that people can just be judgmental and rude because of their own insecurities. Like, everyone has insecurities, and in a way they're
Absolutely.
projecting onto you. So it's when you realize that you need to still be yourself and you need to find that light within and really think about who you are and know that, you're not alone in this. I started my blog Unfiltered with Anahita during COVID, and I shared my story online. And so many girls messaged me saying that, Anahita, I relate to you. I have insecurities with my body. I have insecurities with my stomach or my face or my thighs. And it almost felt like a community of people who are here listening to me and are supporting me. And I think that's when I realized that I need to shift my focus from just thinking about myself and my appearance to really empowering others and helping others. Because in a way, like, I had this, like, almost injured heart, which was kind of healing the more I was able to help others, because it made me feel like I'm somehow helping other people and that is helping me.
Helping me. It's
So,
always like that. I completely relate to this because the whole idea is when you give is when you receive. Whether it's an emotion, whether it's a connect, whether it's a conversation, only when you give, you start to receive. I, when you talk about somewhat kind of, when you have a self, like a low self esteem, or because of whatever reasons, a lot of kids, they have been body shamed, or there is some kind of
mhm,
insecurity, as you said. They are constantly feeling pressured to look good, to look a certain size. This is all so out there in
yeah,
the media. But actually, if you really ask me, of course, as we grow is when we learn. But um, much, what do I say? Many people don't even learn that, even as they are growing
mm,
up. So, this is a conscious effort that one has
mhm,
to do with one's own self, like what you did. When you started to accept, everything started to look, I'm sure, beautiful for you. And because it started looking beautiful, you started looking beautiful, it started also translating in the kind of work you started doing. And okay, fine, right now you're doing things for the girls, as a RJ, helping out. But I remember you also had this little talk with the people in the army,
yeah,
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that was so empowering. I mean, imagine a little girl going out and speaking her heart out. I think what is very important is, Anahita, is that we have to be closer to what we are from within.
Mm-hmm.
Only when we are closer to what we are from within, the life seems beautiful.
I
Everything
100%
around
agree.
you,
Yeah.
everything around you just blooms, blossoms, if you ask me. Because until and unless you do not accept yourself, somewhere somewhere there is this deficit, कोई कमी रहती है. बहुत
Mm.
लोग, I remember as a child, I was bullied, quite a bit body shamed, because of the way I have my ears, and they are little, they poke, they're little outside. They're not
Mm.
like dainty ears, they're not like that.
Yeah.
So, and I remember a lot of people saying, oh my God, she's too fair. She's just too fair.
Mm.
uh, I know also of people who have been constantly on that spot that, oh my God, these guys are very dark. So I know all this is so irrelevant as you grow up. You realize the minute you're comfortable with your own self, everything around you just becomes fine. I mean, you don't
Mm-hmm.
really care. Just, by the way, just last week, it's not even like really far when I was a little girl. Just last week, somebody happened to say, I think, if there was a little change in the way, maybe you should have slimmed down a bit, you would look better. Immediately my reaction was, okay. I don't know, for a second I kind of, felt, I can't say hurt, but I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
really? But then immediately after that, I said, by the way, I think it's okay. And I go very sweetly. I said, आपका मतलब ये है कि मोटे लोग क्यूट नहीं होते? So I think it's a perception. It is what we have been taught for so many years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
According to them, what is beautiful, they
Yeah.
start to dictate to us that, okay, fine, this is the way you are supposed to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is created by this God in a special way. Your eyes are your eyes, my eyes are mine, my nose, my mouth, my head. Okay, fine, I don't have gorgeous hair. I agree. But doesn't matter. It's all right. I think it's okay. How many people would know what are the kind of things that one could have gone through for not to have that perfect look? And who defines perfection, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Who defines perfection? So I think what you are doing, Anahita, is such a beautiful thing. Going out, telling these kids that it's okay and we're all together in this, hand holding each other and helping them come out of the situation. I'm sure so many people must be in awe of you, Anahita.
No, I firstly about the point that you said that, like people saying that, if you just do this much, you'll look this, if you do this much, you'll look better. Like even I've had people who've told me that, Naita, if you get that surgery now, abhi to like technology would have become better. You can probably get that surgery. You would really look like a model. And I was like, okay, but why do I need to fix this? Like, what is the problem? I think growing up, my main goal was to, like, is that, oh, this, I need to get the surgery. But now it's like, I don't want the surgery. I literally want to be an example to other girls and boys that something that is given by the universe, by God, it doesn't have to be changed because people have this idealistic view of what beautiful is. Like it has, like I want to be that example that you can accept yourself and you don't have to change, you don't have to go through surgeries or like other things to feel better or feel accepted. Like owning that insecurity makes you unique. And I guess that's where the acceptance really came in. It was because of other people and realizing that, okay, I'm not alone in this. Everyone is struggling. And everyone has, everyone are having like their own battles. And we just need to be more and more kind to one another.
Oh, I completely agree with you. Kindness is something that goes a long way. And kindness and empathy is something that our world needs right now. Mujib, he's a dear friend. He's just mentioning God's every creation is beautiful. And so are you, Anahita. So that is the comment for you. See, Anahita, you know, something is called wishful thinking. We may have wishful thinking for so many things around us. Oh, I wish I was. Oh, I really wish I had this. And I wish I could. But I think it's high time we change that wishful thinking, and get comfortable with what we have, what has been given to us on a platform. And I think when you start working on that, what you have, that is exceptional. Because what happens is, आप उस पे काम करते हो. That's the thing that you really work on,
Yeah.
you know. And once you start doing that, you realize it's like just like somebody who is doing carpentry, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody is doing, some kind of handwork. And you realize as they do, as it's, and finally when the portrait comes out, or the work of art comes out, surfaces, that's when the real beauty is known. Everything else is just, it's just on its way.
Yeah.
It's never in completion. So you, my child, when I look at you and I see so many children when they struggle with a lot of things, including me, there are times when you said very beautifully, there are times we
Mm-hmm.
struggle and say, oh my god, it's not a good day. I know of so many, I'm like, oh my god, it's not a very happy day. It's fair. We're human beings. There are going to be days when we are not going to be happy. But
Yeah.
what is important is, every time we fall, how do we decide to get up? And how do we decide that, okay, fine, I've cried over this 1,000 times, I can do it one more time, but is it going to help me? But if I change something about it, yes, it might. So I have a plan A, I have a plan B, I have a plan C. If all these things don't work out, doesn't matter. I am still the artist of my own life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I
I can,
agree.
yeah, I can draw a plan D.
Yeah. And I think self-acceptance is a very tough thing because it really is a lifelong journey. It's not that, oh, one day you are like, yeah, I've reached that stage and now I will never be insecure. I think that it's a lifelong thing, but it's about constantly reminding yourself why you are here, what are you doing, who you are, and consistently shifting the focus from your external to your internal and what your heart really wants. Because it's very easy for us to get lost, especially with social media and all these beauty products that are coming up for men and women, that, wrinkle cream, anti wrinkle cream, shaving cream, all of these things. They're just, really forcing, almost pressurizing women, especially to, be ageless and to look the most beautiful at every stage of their life. People are at this point fearing getting old. Like, I see so many people say that, don't tell anyone my age. Like, 49, no, 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 I'm not 49. I am still 20. And it's like, what is wrong with being 49 though? What is the problem with being 50? Or what is the problem with wrinkles? I mean, it is a sign of wisdom that, you're getting older. It's a good thing. But just these small things that we feel pressured to constantly live up to, because as society says, trends will keep changing. Abhi trend hai ki acha you are in this body size.
Yeah,
Now the trend will be something else. Will you just keep changing your
yeah.
body is your vessel, it's where it's like your temple. And like, why are
Carry.
we constantly changing that for others? Like, we need to do things for ourselves more, prioritize ourselves more, and really focus on what we want, than what the society expects us to
Yeah,
do.
I was just about to ask you, Anahita, especially these days, like a lot of women go through this. I mean, they're saying yes,
Mm,
but they want to say no, but they're just saying it. And they just want to please everybody. At what cost? At the cost that somewhere deep inside they're not happy, but they want to please somebody else.
mm.
And unfortunately, even if they're trying to please so many people, they're not able to please everybody. It's not possible. What do you want to say to such people?
Yeah, I think people pleasing starts also when you have a fear of how other people will view you or judge you.
Yeah.
Because if you really know who you are and what you truly want, you will stop caring about how other people view you because people will always have something to say. Like you
Right.
could be doing amazingly well, and there will be people saying negative things just because that's just how the world is. But it's just not possible to always please people. And I feel like I did have that stage in my life where I would say yes to going out during university, actually. Like my first year, I would say yes to going out, even though I didn't want to, but I was scared to be alone. You know, that was something I really struggled with when I came to university because, being so far away from home, it's difficult to again make friends and again form that social circle. And I was
Right.
almost so scared to be alone that I would say yes just because I didn't want to be in my own company. And I think once you conquer that and once you enjoy your own company, then you realize, okay, I don't have to say yes to this. I don't have to please others because I'm just so content with myself and my company and what I want. And then you start choosing and prioritizing people who genuinely make you happy and not
Yeah.
that you'll say yes to everything then.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing you just said. It's very important to be comfortable and comfortable in your own company, because if you cannot be in your own company, that means there is something wrong with you, and there is something wrong with you because you somewhere at deep level are not able to accept it. And if you are
Hmm.
not able to accept your own self, how will you accept others? You will always look for acceptance from the outside world. So it's very important to be accepting your own self first, and automatically people start accepting you and loving you for what you are
Hmm.
and not for what they want to see in you. Well, I must tell you that there are comments coming for you. There is Hardeep Singh, who saying you're simply amazing, Anahita.
Oh, thank
And
you.
and of course, your mom is very happy that I call you the warrior princess and Chota Taka Bada Dhamaka. And she talks about your strength and confidence, and she's of course super, super, super proud of you. There is empathy, kindness, giving back, self acceptance, and no people pleasing and following the light within. This is what your mom said.
Hmm.
And it's so beautiful that these are the things that you want to hear from your own parents. It's very important for a child to hear positive things from the parents. Whatever the world may say, that is really secondary, but what comes from your own parents
Yeah.
makes a dent in your own life. And when we
Hmm.
started this session, I remember you telling me, oh, that's the kind of unconditional love and support you got from your parents. That is completely incredible, is the word that I want to use for both of them. I met them and I was completely floored by them. And they are a beautiful couple, and hearing their stories was such a delight. And especially when it comes to you, I could see their face would light up every time they mentioned Anahita, Anna. And it's such a beautiful feeling speaking to such people, the kind of strength that they have had all through looking at you. And when a child starts to walk, okay, you don't tell the child, because the child is going to fall down couple of times. You don't
Yeah.
tell the child, oops, you can't fall. You can't fall. The child is going to fall down. But the thing is, luckily the kid doesn't understand anything. That's the reason kid stands up and actually starts to walk and then run. Imagine if the child knew, oh my god, it might take a couple of falls and still not get it. I think sometimes it's nice not to know things around you
Yeah.
and just follow. Just follow the flow, is what I would say. And it's
Yeah.
very important to trust your journey.
Hmm.
The minute you think, I can trust my journey, I think it makes the life easy. There is definitely so much positivity in you, which is very evident, not just from your face, but even your actions for what you're doing outside for the world. I really commend you on this. There's another message that comes for you, Balveer Kaur. Love your positivity, Anahita.
Mhm.
Imagine the kind of love that floats into your life, Anahita, in form of blessings, in form of love, in form of people in awe of you. Can you even imagine that?
Yeah, no, I feel very lucky and very blessed. And I think not everyone has it this way because I've seen and I know of people who, who have maybe like divorced parents or who have parents who are separated. And I see the impact that, that has on the child. And I think the right parenting is also so important for like, a kid growing up because too much of control is also not okay and too less is also not okay. So that perfect balance and finding that and letting the kid make the mistake, not telling them that, oh, what are you doing with your life, oh, you're doing this or you're doing that, because I think what parents say that can have such a huge impact on your self-esteem
It
especially.
does. It does.
So it definitely is like really important to have that right guidance and support from your parents. And if parents are not that support, I'm sure there are people who you could find in friends or other family members to get that support from.
Yes, I think the groups are very important, of course, from parents, yes, and peer groups, people looking, at similar stuff and belonging to the same tribe is very important. It's so important that with hand holding each other, we can go a long distance with a lot of ease because there is nobody in this world who is not going to have days that he or she is going to suffer or feel sad. ऐसा कोई नहीं होता because the thing is life is actually like a roller coaster ride. I mean, there are highs and there are lows, and you're going to scream and yell, and then there are times when you're just going to be calm and composed. This is all a part of a journey. And I think the only thing I can advise is please wear your seat belts. And now that seat belts are also compulsory in India, especially the people sitting in the rear. So
Yeah.
please, everybody has to make sure that they're wearing a seat belt in life as well. Stay protected, but at the same time, they need to enjoy the ride to its
Hmm.
fullest. We don't know what kind of time and space do we have in this world, so we might as well live it to the hilt. And of course, then stars like Anahita come our way and they try to light up our path. Anahita, one last thing that I would like to tell you is please continue this kind of love, giving and receiving from the world. It's very important because this is something, and I mean it. Take it on the record. This is going to take you a long, long, long way. And वो जो छोटी मोटी कमी पेशियां थी ना बचपन वाली, वो तो अब हम भूल ही गए हैं,
Yeah.
है कि नहीं? So all that is just behind us, and all we have is this beautiful, beautiful future for you. I really wish you so much more coming your way. But before we end this little session, I want you to give one piece of advice that you want to give to the younger generation. Coming from you would mean a lot because you belong there.
Yeah. This one quote, which is my absolute favorite. It's actually in the Princess Diaries movie, but courage is not the absence of fear, rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. I mean, in life, we're going to have times where we're really scared, we're really fearful, but looking beyond that fear and knowing what you're doing is something beyond you and beyond that emotion, and that it'll really lead you to victory is what we need to focus on. Because one thing I've realized is that it's only when you're uncomfortable and you're put in an uncomfortable position, that's only the time you grow. If you're in your comfort zone, you're not going to be growing. You're not going to be moving forward. It's when you're put in those uncomfortable positions that you really start to see what you truly are capable of. And I think we all need to focus on that.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, Anahita. In the comfort zone, nothing grows, and that's a fact. So we really have to go out there, look for our things in this world, and they are out there, right there, waiting for all of us without us even realizing what, एक छोटी सी बात मुझे यहाँ याद आती है. एक मेंढक, you know what a मेंढक is, a
Yeah.
little frog,
Mm-hmm.
lives in a little pond, and he realizes, oh my god, I live in this such a huge place, till some other frog came and started to tell him, hey, this is too small, you have no idea,
Mm-hmm.
there is so much out there. So he goes, like, how big is it? Like two times the bigger, or maybe three times? The other guy did not know what to tell this guy, what the sea looks like, what the ocean is all about. So he said, forget it. So this is the real fact in life. लोगों की सोच जो होती है वो कूप मंडूप की होती है कभी कभी, स्मॉल थॉट.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way is jumping out of that well, and that can only happen through own self referral, consciousness, and education. And
Mm-hmm.
education, when I say education, it does not mean only books. Education means growing from here, actually growing from here. पढ़ने से फ़र्क पड़ता है, मगर सोच बड़ी होनी बहुत बड़ी बात है. एंड मॉडर्निज्म does not come from clothes you wear or from what you speak in English or Hindi or Tamil or Gujarati or Punjabi. It does not matter. But you only grow when you let your mind grow. And I think that is the beauty, that we all have that. Luckily, we all
Yeah.
as human beings have that power to grow. So, wishing you more power, loads of love and sunshine.
Thank
And
you so much.
yes, I've completely enjoyed having this conversation with you, Anahita. Loved
Me
it so
too.
much. And I really hope this goes a long way. Many people are going to hear your story and feel confident. If Anahita could do it, so can I. And this is
Yes.
the message I want to tell everybody. If Anahita can do it, so can you and you and you and everybody. So then फिर मिलेंगे एक नए मेहमान के साथ, एक नई कहानी के साथ. Looking forward as always. Bye for now.